She's a trooper. Look at her.
She's the most adventurous child that you're ever going to meet. She fears nothing.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. You want to get in it?
Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 73 of Reptiles and Cocktails, which is our Love Is episode. Super excited to be doing this one. First of all, if you are watching from Facebook, I only can see the comments that are on YouTube. Although if I look to my right, I can see Facebook. I can't focus on both. So come on over to YouTube and get into the chat if you want to ask questions of our guest. This is going to be a really good one. I specifically chose these two individuals for today to, first of all, celebrate Pride Month as we celebrate everything else. I think that my goal is to show that we're unified. As a heterosexual woman, I want to celebrate our family members, our friends who are very prideful, who they are as well, right? So that is what this is about today. And also educate our families and our friends to better understand the perspective of life of someone who grew up. I don't want to say different because it was only different, which is a way of, for me, thinking everything differently now. Was it really different? I have even started to dive deeper and look into, how we came up with male and female, all that type of stuff to help me better understand a lot of the misunderstanding of alternative lifestyles. And the only alternative is because we were only taught one way, or we only seen one way for the longest time, although some of us were privy to experiencing alternative lifestyles. And I say privy because I'm glad that it wasn't thrown on me in the 2000s, because I've seen it all my life in my family. And so you appreciate the people that you love, who you watch, and they educated you along the way without, and we're going to talk about that some of the day, without even talking about it. So, a lot of us just, it is what it is. And we never even talked about the details of what life was like for our family members. We just assumed that, it's all good because it's our family, and then we would see other people who talked about suffering and things like that. So I want to start off with saying to everybody in the chat, this is going to be one of those chats that I'm going to remind everyone to be respectful. Number one, two people on the panel that I absolutely adore are here. And one of them is family. And I already told y'all I am about my family. So just be very respectful with your questions, but ask your questions because we want to make sure that you are educated. And these are two of the best people that I know who are always exuded confidence of who they are in life, and, seemingly had no quarrels about it, except for, there are internal battles, and we're going to hear about some of them today that even myself didn't know or don't perceive that. So it's all about education. It's all about new way of looking at life, and God dang it, we all need to be happy on earth. I think everybody is entitled to that. So whatever makes you happy, makes you happy. And whatever makes me happy, make me happy. I always say that we all have some type of alternative in us. There's a lot of things that my family may look at me and just say she's just one weirdo, but I'm a happy weirdo, and I'm entitled to that level of happiness, and everybody in the world is entitled to that level of happiness. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to bring on our guests. I'm going to start with Elias fighting already, Don D. Don't play with the Don D. The other thing I just want to remind everybody, moderators, please moderate if you need to at your discretion. If you think something is not appropriate, you make that decision. Don't wait on me because I won't be focused on my peeps. And remind everybody on July 15th, I will be doing Lady Tiz Exotics, another reptile show in Gettysburg, PA, courtesy of BNS Reptilia. Invited me to do that show with them and looking out, and I appreciate that. And don't forget, guys, but for all of your shipping needs, you want to make sure that you use Redline shipping. I will tell you that shipping an animal for a person like me who love the animals is stressful enough. But to know that you can go to a website. I didn't even have to call. Let me just say, it was enough detail on the website for me to feel 110% comfortable with sending my first package with no issues at all. So shout out to everybody. So I'm going to bring on our guests, and then we're going to acknowledge the chat because I do want the guests to see who's here for them. So the first one is going to be our reptile brother, Don D.
Hi.
With the bad background. Look, I tried to bring a little sparkle in there. I did what I could. I knew Melissa was going to come looking all beautiful as she always do. That's my cousin.
Thank you.
Hey, Melissa.
Hi, everybody.
North Carolina and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Where are you, Don D?
I'm in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know you was that close to me.
I am. I'm only a couple hours away.
Oh, I gotta make sure you know what's going down in PA and stuff then. Okay. I didn't know you was that close to me. So great. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming through. So I just want to go through the chat real fast. Say, first of all, thanks to everybody in the chat. Stan, thank you for coming. AJ, good to see my brother in the chat. Good to see you last night. I had to do a wellness check on AJ. I will look for you now. I will look for you. Wayne and Alice, all the way from Ireland.
All right. Yes.
Look out the window for us. The grass is not that green over here. Elias, let's go. Pride
What's up, bro?
That's right. And Elias, you are just definitely one who inspired this, as well as I was talking to Don D in the background. So thank you. Mitzi Ann, good morning, my sister. How are you? Or afternoon. Since always, I feel like it's morning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darlene.
Hey,
this
Darlene.
Is a good one to listen to while you do your enclosures. KT on time. What?
KT. Don't misbehave today, sir.
Right. Be on your best P and Qs and K and T's. Melissa, we crazy because don't play us no mind.
Oh, I'm not.
Hey, Tim, someone needs to answer Jeremy's question. If you see a double rainbow, stop it. I can't prepare. Did y'all see that yesterday? Jeremy has been on his best Jeremy this week. Someone needs to answer Jeremy's question.
The answer is yes.
Double rainbow, if it means there's 4 more weeks of Pride Month. It definitely was a double rainbow. Oh my goodness, that was too funny. And then look, he put himself on the rainbow on the roof. Like, I can't. You gotta love another person who knows who the heck he is, okay? I love it. Love it. All right, so let's get this started, because I actually, for those of you who haven't been on this show, I don't structure questions. Because again, I want to make sure that this is a very respectful and controlled environment, even from the interviewer's standpoint. I want to make sure that everybody saw the questions in advance, prepared for them. So, if there's any emotion attached to it, then, it can be kind of prerequisite. It doesn't have to just hit somebody all at once. This is not a podcast that I want to shock people with questions. But I want their authentic, as we talked,
Thank you.
responses because it helps educate you guys. Hey, Kent. Good morning, bro.
Morning, Ken.
Good afternoon. Look, I'm messing you up,
See,
man.
you got me all messed up. Good
Right.
afternoon,
Hey,
Ken.
good afternoon, y'all. We gonna get this right.
Kent's another one that's not far from me. He's about 45 minutes from
I
me.
know. I said we go to. I'm always in PA for the PA event, so that means Dawn D needs to be there, right, Kent? I drive everyone. The next one is July 1st at Jeremy Waffles. Dawn D, are you aware?
I am aware.
Okay. Hopefully you can make it. Chilling, Mike, waiting on the eggs to drop. Everybody waiting on eggs to drop. I'm waiting for these beauties to crawl out the egg. All right, so let's get started. My first question, I want to start with Dawn D. And this is the general question. And to Melissa and Dawn D, the word that I'm using is gay. If y'all have to correct me at any point, just insert the word, I will note it, because I learned from the last podcast that my words was all messed up when it comes to certain situations. And that's something we're going to talk about today too. So my first question is, Dawn D, just you generally introduce yourself and then let the people, when did you realize that you were in fact a gay male or gay? Because we ain't going to do male and female as much as possible.
Well, I do identify as a male, so and I am a cis male. Cis is not a slur. Cis is not a bad word. Cis is not negative, but I am a cisgender gay male. And if we need to talk about cis, we'll get into that a little later.
Yep. I wrote that down because that was something I learned from you too. It's not a bad word.
All right, good. I've known I was gay since I was little. I can think back about as far as like 5 or 6. I knew I was gay. And as I grew a little older, I knew it wasn't right to be gay. But yeah, I've known since then. Came out when I was 19. Yeah, that's me.
Dawn, he cracks me up. Dawn, Melissa, what about you? Tell everybody who you are, and then
Hi.
same thing. When did you realize that you were gay? And I'm not saying male or female.
I am Melissa and I identify as female. And I was probably bisexual from the age, probably about 15. I liked both sexes. But particularly for the last 13 years I've been with Monica, it's been strictly lesbian.
And Monica is my blood cousin, actually my twin cousin, like facts. Like we've always been considered twins. And then at some point around, I would say about 13, 14, if I can remember correctly, Monica started to show me, well, I always knew my cousin was gay from us being, I don't know what she thought or felt, but from us being young. My uncle had one child. And it was a girl. But if you went into Monica's house, you would thought that my uncle had a little boy. Not because he bought her little boy she wanted, and she got whatever she wanted. I don't know if Melissa, she ever told you that Monica was a spoiled.
Yeah. She's still spoiled.
like on all levels, her mother, her father, her grandparents. So whatever she wanted, she could have. And so it wasn't
Still to this day.
Okay, so no one, yeah, we like Monica's still like, she's older than me, but she's like the baby. So I always knew Monica was, but I think it was like 13 or 14 for me. And Monica might have been like about 16, 17 when it all came out. And Monica started to definitely dress differently than, we did as little kids, but she always was the fly cousin when it came to dressing with the tennis shoes. Her and Fat Pig were bad with the tennis shoes and the hats and all of that. So I knew. I wasn't surprised. I don't think none of us were surprised. In fact, if Monica was here, she probably would laugh and say none of the boys were surprised. None of them.
She says about kindergarten, she knew that she was gay. She
Okay.
knew all the whole time. Yeah, she said she knew definitely. And when she came out, they told her that they knew. They already knew.
None of us
So it
was
wasn't no surprise.
It was
Yes.
like moving on. And so therefore the only thing that changed for me was it went from me and her being little girls together to her still taking me to my boyfriend, but she was dropping me off, going wherever she would go, come pick me back up or whatever. She was the big cousin who could get me where I needed to go. To this day, the sweetest person on earth. The sweetest. She cares about everybody else. So Donkey, when you were talking and you and Elias was talking about masculinity and all of that, Melissa is the beautiful wife, but she's much harder in appearance because Monica is the one person I can tell you I never had an argument with we never disagreed on anything. The only thing we disagreed on is when her dad was passing, and I felt like that was one that we should have helped bury, and she would not let us help bury him. That was the only thing we disagreed on, but it wasn't, could nobody talk about it. It was like, okay, let her do her thing, right? And y'all, that's who Larry is named after. My water monitor is named after Monica's dad. I got Larry the week that my uncle was passing, and this sweet woman right here gave me blow by blow of my uncle leaving this earth. And Melissa, I will forever love you for those moments because you were strong and none of us could be. And I know it was hard because you was close to him too. But I remember telling Monica, I'm going to marry the water monitor Larry. And that's where Larry got his name. So when Larry almost died recently, y'all, and I said he could not die, that was why. He had to live. So we made sure that he lived. So just amazing, amazing people, Melissa and Monica. I want to go to the next question for Don D.
You didn't tell me this was going to be emotional today. I don't have.
I know. Where I need the tissues, Nicole.
I'm a little emotional. I'm a Gemini.
Trying to be emotional gangster, Nicole.
All right. So moving on. Did you always live a homosexual lifestyle, or how many years did you play it straight? You answered that one already, so we can kind of move on to that. But as a young adult, what was the hardest part or place with dealing with your truth? Like, what was the one place you couldn't stand to be being in your truth?
So right after I came out, I started hanging out down in Philly. A friend of mine had moved to Philly. We were like, this is back in the day when we had pen pals. And one of my pen pals ended up getting an internship in Philly. So I started going down to the city and hanging out with him and meeting a whole lot of people that are still in my life today. And this was, over 30 years ago that I met them. Right. They literally became my chosen family. So every weekend, early in the morning, I catch the bus and head on down to Philly. Sometimes I'd either spend the day and come back late Saturday night or spend the night and come back on Sunday. But that was, I grew up in the suburbs. There was nothing gay in the suburbs in the, early 1990s. So I had to go to the city. So, hanging out in the city and being around other gay people that is
a reality though. Like even in Baltimore, for my cousins who were watching, my gay cousins, like that's where everybody would. We saw your cousin at so and so in the city. It would never be anywhere else, but it seems like that's where the life was in the city. Same thing for DC.
Yeah, I mean it's very different now. You can't go anywhere without seeing something gay in the suburbs. But back then, hey Ken. Back then, yeah, I had to go to the city every weekend to be gay.
We laugh about that, but how horrible, y'all, is that, right?
Yeah.
And in Philly, that could be an expensive trip getting from the suburbs to the city sometimes, trying to park. Like, it's a whole lot going on there. What about you, Melissa? I'll ask the same question. As a young adult, what was the hardest part or place with dealing with your truth?
Well, I never really had come out. I just got a girlfriend and it was what it was. My biggest problem was with my mom. She didn't accept it because of how she grew up, but she's coming down next Wednesday, Nicole, to meet Monica for the first time.
Wow.
So the tables are turning. Yes,
That's
yes. I
awesome.
went up there in April and yeah, I went up there in April and visited her after many years. And I said, "Here's my girlfriend," and she stepped back, but her husband took to Monica. So it was her husband that pushed her, and now they're coming down.
You cannot resist the Monica, one of the sweetest
Yeah,
angels on earth. Like, there's just no way. I don't even know like how Monica would react to someone like literally. Is there a mean streak in Monica? Let's ask. So is that just like a? I'm dead serious. I have been in situations with my cousin where she still has. Is it another side?
she there
Real
is,
nasty.
but only when she's defending somebody that she loves. That's the only time I've seen it was when somebody came for me and she stood up. She took it like a man. She did what she had to do.
That's the nasty in her. That's the
Yeah,
nasty in her.
yes.
I've never seen it. I've never seen her get angry. And y'all, we got some assholes in our family. Like if you want to go to like a family reunion, somebody's gonna do some dumb stuff that's gonna just make somebody want to slam somebody on their neck. It will be a mad scene get together. But Monica is always the one trying to keep everybody together. That's why she's
She wasn't when she broke them windows out that girl's car next door, but yes,
I
Nicole,
never seen her.
only
I'm
when you
gonna blame
push
that
her.
girl. You made my cousin that
Yeah,
mad.
it
I'm gonna
was
blame
her
that
fault.
girl.
It was her fault. It was.
Don D, what and when did it occur that you were confident enough to speak boldly about who you are? And I'm asking you that because it's a boldness with you. Like, when was that point?
I think when I came out when I was 19. I mean, I guess I've always had the boldness, but when I was 19 was enough for me to be my full, completely bold. I used to work, and I know we're all around the same age, so y'all remember Sam Goody.
Yes, Sam Goody. Yes, we do.
I
I don't know.
used,
Melissa might not be. Well, no, you have to be Melissa. You just might not look like it.
I, I'm
You never Sam
41.
Goody? Okay, so you
Yeah,
were
I do. Yeah.
okay.
old enough. I used to work at Sam Goody, and I would, have a backpack on my back with all like rainbow buttons and gatus and everything. Hey, Coco, on my bag and everything. But yeah, that's about the time when I became bold. I had got a boyfriend and I didn't want to hide, so I came out to my parents when.
And how did your parents take it at the time?
My dad was okay. He, I now again, this was over 30 years ago. I remember like it was yesterday. It was my first and only year in college. Um, I remember Thursday night sitting and writing a letter to my parents, put it in the mailbox. That following Saturday, I'm just sitting in my dorm room watching TV, and just all of a sudden, just a burst of like tears. I just started crying uncontrollably. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, my phone rings. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And it was my father.
Okay.
And started crying again. And he's like, what's wrong? I said, nothing, nothing. He's like, well, we got your letter. So then the tears really came. And hey, Wiz. He said to me, you're my son. You'll always be my son. I will always love you. And that struck, really meant a lot. He didn't know how to handle it. His older sister owns a dance studio down in DC. So he called her up because he knew that she had a lot of
Right.
gay men.
DC dance studio, yes.
Yes, yes,
Your best dancers are right there.
yes. So he called her up for advice, and one day I get this phone call, and it was one of her dancers. And we were on the phone for like 2 hours. The first hour, we're just on the phone talking about my aunt and, you know, how great she is and all this stuff. And then finally, he's like, do you know why I'm calling you? I said, no, I have no idea. And he's like, your father's worried about you. So he reached out to your aunt, and she had me call you to make sure you're okay.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm good. So then we had a whole other hour conversation just about, you know, life in general.
So I would say that speaking to most people, I think about my cousin Greg. His mom was gay, but my uncle, who was his dad, was not. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was, you know, he was wholly comfortable coming out with his mom, but she actually, I think, took it worse than his dad, because my uncle was a clown and he was more worried about his dad rejected it. My uncle took it like a champ. Uh-huh. You know, so it's amazing how some men react one way, you know, or most men or males think that their fathers will take it harder. And it seems that in most cases, fathers somehow are just as accepting as a mom could be.
And my mom was okay with it. My stepmother wasn't. My stepmother, she told me that if I would bring a boyfriend home, she would view him as a girlfriend that she didn't like. So right out the gate, she was already negative with it. And that's the way she was. She was an alcoholic, so I don't know if that was the alcohol talking. But she was just an ugly person. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore. Guess that's what happened when karma.
I would say this. She was an alcoholic. Sometimes people who suffer from alcoholism have their own demons that they think they can drink away. Mm-hmm. And you never know how many of those demons was tied to the very thing that you were confident enough to come out about. And I that's something that I've learned, just, you know, talking to people, that sometimes it's the person who hates it the most, but it's because they're battling with their own trauma from it. You know, not necessarily direct trauma. It can be indirect trauma, but they are battling with their own trauma from it. And they struggle with your confidence to be so bold about it. Melissa, what about you? Hey, Jeremy, you talked about your mom. What was that like?
Well, I really just reconnected with my mom, but it was my stepmom that has the biggest problem of it, because I was raised in church, but she won't do it to my face. She'll wait till I leave and then talk her little talk. So she's never addressed me personally about how she feels. But my dad was all right. My dad, both my girlfriends, Monica and Lou, my dad took them in just like they was part of me. He loved them because I loved them, and he loved me.
And we talked about this a little bit backstage, but I was saying to Melissa, like, a lot of these questions, even though Melissa's family, I don't know the answers, because in our family, we don't talk. Melissa came, Monica's like, this is my wife. We like, hey, wife, hey, cuz. And it was hey, cuz every single day. Family reunion, what you cooking? Like, we never, like, we don't even know how y'all met. That's how we love on the Massey side of the family. As long as the person walking in looks happy, don't look like you beat them or nothing like that, we good. We got enough stuff that goes on in our family that needs protection. And it ain't Monica walking in with a wife. But I would say, I don't know any of these answers because I never sat down, because and talk to Monica about it. You know, we never even talked about after Monica like had the baby, like what was that like for her? Like none of that kind of stuff. Her
We've
grandparents.
had them conversations. We've had all them
You have to
conversations.
answer this one for me. The grandparents who
Okay.
were also both pastors, and they were, when I say they were like, they appeared to be real pastors. Let's say that, you know, not necessarily the ones who claimed they go to church and then came home and be ugly. They were nice people. I could walk in their house. I could stay as long as I want. They was the sweetest to me, the sweetest. But I really felt that's where Monica would hide who she was the most. And that could be my perception. But how did they accept it? Because they loved her. They loved her. She didn't want for nothing in their household either. But that part of her, when did that come in for them?
With the baby, Monica really did not want the baby, but they said that if she had the baby, they would take care of it. So that's what
Remember
happened.
that. I remember that one a little later.
Yeah,
Now, with
that's what
her
happened.
coming out to them, how did they receive that at first?
Oh, her grandma said she already knew.
Okay.
Yeah, so she don't, I think she may have toned it down when she was around her grandmother. Like still when we go over there, I mean her grandma knows that we've been together. She knows I'm her girlfriend, but
Right.
it's not like broadcasted. She loves me, she loves Nevaeh. You know, it's they don't make it into an issue.
Anyway, though, I don't even think around us that. So we talked about that, Dawn D, where I learned that recently there's some gay people that think other gay people are over the top, and then there's someone made the comment recently that I'm not rainbows and fairy gay, and I had to question. And Elias, you remember you was on that trend. What the hell does that mean? I thought the rainbow represented pride. Now I'm confused. So I would say for Monica, I don't think that she wouldn't be that over the top person, openly affectionate over the top person anyway. She's not like that around us.
She's like that. Maybe not in front of family, but in front of her gay friends, she's like that. You'll see a
Okay,
different side of her.
got you. Okay, because I'm like, you know, it's
Just
always
because she
all
may,
together.
I think she views it maybe disrespectful in front of family.
It was just really
Because
weird.
maybe because everybody may not agree on it, so she just choose not to even open the door.
Got
But
you.
she knows all y'all love her. She just don't present that side.
Oh, see, I just assumed that it just wasn't, you know, the way that you know, she was. I will tell you, when it comes to relationship, the family has, you might not even remember this. We were having a family reunion recently. I handed my wallet to you before I even handed this. I'm like, "Hi, Melissa, take my wallet, credit cards and everything in there." And I wouldn't hand my wallet to a lot of people in our family. No, I sort you out, like, take my wallet, you know what I mean? So I know that she knows that we love and respect you so much. I know she knows that. But I
Oh,
think
she absolutely does.
I was going to say, I said, I know she know. Like, if we wouldn't be like weirded out if she was, I would be weirded out that she's affectionate because I just never seen her affectionate one way or the other. Like, even with me, it's always like she was protective. Come on, cuz, I'm gonna take you here. Come on, come to work with me. Like, I used to go to work with her when she worked at Haynes. Come to go to work with me because she didn't want me sitting, because my summers was spent there. She didn't want me sitting by myself, but it was never a situation where I ever saw her overly affectionate except for with her father and her mom.
Yeah.
Like they were they were like, that was his world, you know. So I did see her like that with him. All right, so let me go to the next question for Dawn D. And I'm gonna go down here, Dawn D, and I'm gonna come back up.
Okay.
So we talked about this a little bit, but recently I was sharing with Melissa and Dawn D. I made a comment on a previous podcast that came off offensive, but wasn't my intent. And I felt like if anybody should have been offended, it should have been Dawn D, because what I said was, and I'll say it I'm gonna say it like I said it, because it's important for that context to understand why people's honest reactions was the way it was. I said that I wouldn't care if and I was talking specifically about my grandkids, because my children are grown, and the only people with lives I'm really invested in at this point is my grandchildren. I don't even have a choice of what any of my kids are going to do, but my grandkids, I said, I wouldn't care if my granddaughters were gay, but I don't want my grandson to be gay. And I wanted to stress, I said grandson, and I was saying to Dawn D, I have more than one grandson. It's one in particular. As a grandmother, I have this fantasy of what I want life to look like for him. But when I typed that in the comment, especially in the sense we were doing a lot of joking and laughing in the beginning, it really struck raw emotions that shocked me at the moment. I couldn't even respond, but I did want to go back to it, and I wanted Dawn D to answer how he felt, because I don't think how it came off was my intent, but I can understand how the perception could have been what the intent was. And Dawn D, you answered earlier exactly what my truth and what I was kind of trying to say. So can you just elaborate on how you felt when you heard that, and then your mental response to it?
Well, when you said that, when I saw that in the chat, I immediately thought that that's not your decision, because I didn't know, one, that you have multiple grandsons. Mm-hmm. And now that I know the story as to why you were referring to this one grandson, right, I understand your statement. But at the time when I saw that, I'm thinking that's not your decision. That's right. Not your choice. Well, not even a choice, because this isn't a choice. I didn't choose to be.
And we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I was at that point. But now I'm somewhere else. Now that
and I would say, in context of that, even typing that, the people who were in the chat, I'm thinking they realize I do have more than one, because these are people who are on my Facebook page and stuff like that. But not realizing, everybody not paying that much attention, because you only see the one grandson, because that's the one that can come around my animals. That other one will probably take animals out with some crap. So you don't see him as much as you see the other one. But the other part of it is, even when I said that, I knew that wasn't my choice. I felt like I made that, I indicated that was saying I wouldn't care. My granddaughters have choices. You know what I'm saying? Just this one particular grandson, I would prefer, is probably what I should have said, right? Because he's going to have his choice too. And going to what Melissa said earlier, I don't care one way or the other. Like the moment that Monica decided, okay, this is the day that I'm going to be, it was the same relationship we had the day before, because I always knew, and that's the relationship. And not just Monica, we have plenty of people that have alternative sexualities on both sides of my family. That with the family, it just never was a thing. So what it did teach me, and I wanted to bring that up, Dawn D, is I think two things was offensive in that statement. I think that also it was taken that it's okay for girls to be gay and not boys to be gay. And I'm never going to, that's never my intent, I just literally it would be, and I don't know why it would be almost hysterical if Scott came in here and told me, hey, Pooh, I got a girlfriend. I would be like, really? It's just the relationship we have, except for with my grandsons, it's like, these are my kings and queens are not, a part of it. What I learned that day is that my king can still be a king. Dawn D, you are very royal. There's something very kingly, I'm just saying, about everything about you, your communication and all of that. So I say this to everybody in the chat to say, it was a very emotional moment. Elias, to the point where I couldn't respond to him right away. I had to let him know, yes, the next day. But it hurt me to hurt somebody so bad with my just casual words. And it didn't, my intent wasn't that, because I don't care. I want you to be happy. That's the one thing that everybody deserves. And what Elias also said that time is that you don't realize how many people who are in abusive relationships, who are in alternative relationships, because they're in abusive relationships everywhere, but they won't come out and say it because they feel that it's not cared enough, Melissa, the reason why we never questioned you is because Monica looked happy. She was smiling. She ain't never called me and say, cuz this bitch this, cuz this bitch. So, like some of my male cousins, like that's why I don't deal with Angie, and I never would. Even when my cousin died, I ain't deal with her because it's the many times I drove 8 hours down there to put foot in her ass. So we never had those.
I don't want no smoke, Nicole. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke.
I tell everybody, the person y'all see today has a lot of growth. I was all whip driving a good 6 to 8 hours to whip on somebody who did something to one of my cousins. So, but Monica was happy, and so therefore no one cared. And so no one cares to know where. I don't even know, Melissa, where are you from? We never asked that. You know what I'm saying?
I am from Toledo, Ohio, and I met Monica in Columbus, Ohio. And I actually met Larry first before I met Monica.
Crazy. So
yeah,
I was living in Columbus when I think y'all met.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that I lived in Columbus for what, 3 years? 3 years.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. And she when she told me about you, I picked up from downtown. She was working somewhere near downtown. I picked up from downtown. I was taken over to her dad's apartment. And that's when the first time I heard about you. And then I think that right shortly after that, we all ended up going to North Carolina, and that's when we all met.
Oh wow! I did not know you was up. You were up there with us, but that's where we met.
3 years. I only came back. I just stayed in Columbus, y'all. I would stay in Columbus if it wasn't for my kids missed my mother. Columbus was like the coolest place to live for children for me. Like COSA, GameWorks, like it was just so much like the bowling days. Like we used to bowl every Sunday because they used to make bowling like it was big hype for kids. You know what I'm saying? So we would go to Ball Evans. The best Ball Evans is in Columbus, Ohio, and then we would go and we will bowl. And so I remember when y'all met. It's crazy. Now, Melissa, how do you explain to your daughter? Like, when was that point where you had to have a conversation, or you never had a conversation with her either? It was just what it was.
No, we never had a conversation. I grew up in church, so I believed in the Bible, and I married a man, and I had my daughter, but it just didn't work out. And after we got divorced, I just had Nevaeh. Now she says she has two moms. She knew Monica because I had a restaurant, and Monica used to come into the restaurant. My daughter used to take Monica around and show her. So they had a relationship really before me and Monica had a relationship. They had already bonded. So it just Nevaeh's 17, just started her first job, and she has two moms. That's just how her life is.
And that's just amazing. And even with that, like I love her relationship with Monica. Like you can definitely tell she don't play about. Again, children tell you the truth. Unhappy children live in unhappy homes. Children.
I'm gonna tell you this situation that happened. Me and Monica took like cupcakes and stuff to Nevaeh's school. I think she was in the second grade, and the little boy was looking at Monica, and he looked at Nevaeh and said, "Is that a boy or a girl?" Nevaeh said, "That's a girl. Like that's a girl." And she's always been like that. Yeah, she don't play about Monica. She calls her buddy. She don't play about her buddy at all.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good situation though. For me, I just, you know how much I love Monica. Like, so we had pockets of families, and Monica's the one that even when her dad died, everybody was we're right here. So she's gonna call me first, right? I love the peace she has with you. And I think that if I said this to Elias, the same thing, the first person that my sister Sheila was with was the best. My sister Sheila went to jail for years. And she did drugs, she abused drugs, in and out of jail. She had kids addicted to drugs. Like it was just a lot, right? She goes to prison at one of those, I think it was when she did the 10 years. And when Sheila came home, Sheila went in looking like me. She came out, she was Monica, right? But she was clean. She was happy. She was with someone who wanted the best for her. It was the best that I had seen my sister in a very, very, very long time. And when I say that people are entitled to that, because I think maybe even for Sheila, growing up without dad, my dad didn't speak to my sister up until the time, like right before he passed away. Listen to that. But Monica never saw anything different but love from my dad. Nothing. I don't even Monica even know that my dad didn't speak to Sheila up until like he was about to leave this earth. And it wasn't because of her being gay. It was because of drugs. My father always told us, don't get pregnant and bring a baby in here as a teenager. And if you do drugs, I will act like I didn't know you. And when I'm bringing it up to say whether it's gay or drugs, when people go through things, and I went through this recently with my daughter, going through, and I don't know, Melissa, if you know that, like when we went through that with Jada, going through a lot of her stuff mentally. And I never dealt with anything like that. And I remember saying to my husband, the only thing that's important to me is that my child live. On the other side of her living, I can address all her other flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like we can talk about everything else. But right now, the only thing that's important to me is that she lives. She has children. You know what I mean? And when I see Jada today, and Melissa, if you see Jada today, people would never know. The year that we had that cousin family reunion and she laid out on the grass, she was struggling that year. We really had to beg her to come and, go and stuff like that. So people wouldn't know because Jada always kept it looking like it was together. And so when people talk about the mental illness side of being gay or being a drug addict or whatever, because that's a lonely place too. And I'm telling you, as a mother who couldn't understand it, I had to read about pills, Molly's, and Percocets to make me understand what my daughter was going through. Okay? I had to read about it because I've done a lot of things in my life. Pills wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like cocaine, none of that. That wasn't one of them. Now, if you ask me about Purple Haze and some skunk and some, I can tell you different weed strains. But I never, ever some of the other stuff. So this hardcore stuff these kids was rolling with, I was clueless. But then when I educated myself, I then prepared myself for what I had to do to really give her the right appropriate help that would shift her life, whether anybody agreed with it or not. And I remember somebody saying to me, what's your number one job as a mother? And I said, to make sure my child gets. And I think that listening to people and listening to Elias to talk about how hard that acceptance piece is. Elias, like, I don't know about the acceptance piece because we always accepted. It was never a conversation with any of them. If Greg was right here today, Greg would tell you that we never had a conversation about Greg being gay. We knew Greg was gay when he started when he would go out. When I tell you that Greg is the flyest, like he would go to boutiques to get his stuff made, okay? He will be beat all to be damned, and that's the only time you saw him if you saw him out at the club or on the streets. Everywhere else, he was just our regular old cousin, Greg. So it just never was, it was never a conversation. I never saw the downside of anyone suffering from it because in my family, we just accepted it. So I think that what hurt me is when people assume that like people like myself are not understanding of it, and it's only simply because we always accepting of it. Like we don't sit down and have conversations about why someone Bundy is gay now. Okay, like we don't sit down and talk about, well, Bundy, why are you gay? Like we don't talk about that. Bring all your boyfriends. The only rule is make sure I like them. Because if I don't like you, Melissa, right? If I don't like you, you will not fit well in this family. I'm the one that you want to be on your side because I'm going to keep you away 3 ways. One, I'm just going to make him see all the ugly in you. I ain't going to hide nothing about you, male or female. 2, I'm going to be the most hateful person to you. Or 3, I'm going to be the best friend of the ex. So I'm going to tell you that's how it goes. So you want me to like you. But I honestly think in most people's mind, we don't realize the turmoil that an individual is going through with just coming out because we get to be free. This is the one thing I get to say. No one ever questioned all the men I brought to the family reunion list. No one ever questioned which one I was bringing. You know, all y'all was ever happy was when y'all started to see Slim for 15 years straight. I was like, finally, there's one, you know. But no one questioned it. No one questioned my promiscuity. No one questioned any of that. But if I came and said, okay, or somebody else come and say, this is how I want to live my lifestyle, it's all these questions, all these innuendos. So what I can do as a human being is say, you get to be your free you, your best you, and whatever you want to do. That's ultimately what I want for my grandchildren. Now, whether my personal desire for Jaden Murray specifically is that I want him to be a basketball player. It's a whole lot going on in there. It's not just the whole sexuality part. I got a whole life plan for him. Who knows? He might not ever want to touch a basketball. It might be football. You know what I'm saying? But
it might not be that.
Right. Exactly. And so what I do realize is that if I'm ever going to make that comment again, I need to make sure I preface it correctly. So I say that to say, the reason why I think these type of forums are important, I learned so much that day that will pave the way for every other conversation I have in the future. Even if we're in a joking environment or anything like that, I learned more about triggers because, see, again, too, you got to remember, most people see gay people as being happy. With what most people see, like the flamboyance, that looks fun to us. That looks exciting to us. That's why straight men want to hang out with gay men sometimes. I'm just being honest. It's the woman at home born as a motherfucker. And so I just want to go hang out with this dude who got a lot of straight girlfriends. It's just a fact. Melissa, when I lived in Columbus, one of my girlfriends was gay. I can't remember the name of the club, but it was Blue something. It was a club in Columbus that all the gay females went to. I went with her because we would turn up. I learned how to ride.
Missy Blues.
Yes. I mean, I used to turn up. It was nothing like a party, okay? And so people, even with that, I've heard people say, if you hanging with a gay girl, you got to be gay. Then you don't know me. Dundee, check my resume.
But and that's like the same thing with guys. They put on a straight guy. If you're hanging out with a gay guy, then you must be gay too. But what if I'm hanging out with a straight girl? That doesn't make me straight.
And so
that don't make you a girl either.
I'm gay friends, Carlos. Everybody on the football and basketball team consider that person a close friend, and you're going to see them in the streets together. So we know that type of stuff ain't true, but that is the perception. The perception is my grandfather, when my cousin Tony died, they had his reception at a gay bar. And my grandfather was afraid to go in the gay bar because he thought people was going to think he was gay. He laughed all the way in there, okay? But he was going, like he said, he's going in this bar. He went in that bar, but he's like, is people gonna think I'm gay? No, it's not like you walk in there and gay people just like, okay, I just want to, get your grandpa. No, it's not like that. But people don't know that if they don't spend time with you. People don't know that if they don't have conversations. People don't know that, Melissa, if they don't see you in a Monica and they don't see the harmonious love that a gay relationship can have. People don't know that if they don't see two gay people, two gay men adopting two straight children, raising them up to be successful doctors and lawyers, attorneys. People got all kinds of like weird little innuendos in their head about what they think it is. But if we don't talk about it, there's still little innuendos in our head. No one knows any different. Melissa, everybody don't have what we have in our family. You know what I mean? Like we love
right
you.
About
If
that.
you a junkie, we don't care. We got enough flaws in this family to be worried about who somebody's sleeping with, okay? We don't care if you're alcoholic. Like, can we keep it real? We don't care if you may have taken your wife out. Like, we don't care about none of that. We're going to still love on you. It's the family we in. You walk into this, we love. If we're not in love with you, then you're not coming around. That's just not like the mancy thing to do. But everybody don't have those families, right, Don D? Some people live in. You're lucky to live in Philly, which Philly is like Atlanta. Their downtowns are known that you can find places to be comfortable. Yes. Melissa, it might have been hard if you had came up in North Carolina, right?
Oh, girl, it's hard now, honey. I'm so bored down here.
I was like, it's not a lot to do as far as like, going to a gay club in North Carolina or anything like that. Like you could have done in Columbus. Columbus had a nice little, vibe to it. Don D is fortunate. There are some people who are raised in the deep, deep South. That had to be hell for some people. Right now, there are some people in the deep South, 40, 50 years old.
Florida.
Wow. That just doesn't want to come out. So I would say this, Dawn D, if you were talking to your child, and let's say you didn't, well, I can't, that's going to be kind of tough. Knowing what you know, right, about how life has been for you since you were 19, what would you say to them about being who they are, whether it's gay, straight, whatever? Like, what would you say to your child about identifying with who they are and being that person?
Be proud of who you are. Accept who you are. You are you for a reason. Just be proud of that and accept that for yourself.
Facts. Melissa, I know you and your daughter are very close. What would you say to your daughter, not necessarily being gay or straight, but about just being truly and authentically who they are?
But the thing Nevaeh struggles with is she's probably about 6 foot and about 330 pounds. So I told her to embrace her weight. You know what I mean? I told her, there's only one of you, and whatever you want to do in life, you can do. Whoever you want to be with, you can be with. You could do anything. But she really talks more to Monica, even though that's surprising. Me and her close. She will talk to Monica about things that she won't talk to me about.
But I can see
like
it.
Her depression. She was very depressed. Yes, and I didn't. I mean, I could feel something as a mother, but I couldn't put my finger on it until she talked to Monica. So they have a different bond.
But that's kind of the cool part of being, like I would say for my stepdaughter, she has her mom. Her mom is an awesome mom to her. But when, it's time for things to go down, She calling me. What she says for Mother's Day. She said, she sent me this emoji because you're like kind of like a cool mom. So it's good to have somebody that loves you and loves you a lot. And trust me, Monica has discernment of what she's going to tell you and what she's not going to tell you. But knowing that I might not be able to take this to my father, but I can take that to my stepmother first. My stepdaughter knows she has that. And then I'll filter it for my husband, or if it's something that needs to just be like, he's going to get it how she knows I'm going to do the best with the information that I can. But when it comes to the professional life, when you go to work, Dondi, what do you do full time?
I work for an insurance company.
Okay. So are you in an office by yourself, or are you working with a group of people?
Well, we were in the office. Since COVID, we've been working.
Okay. Professionally, do you feel like, because I think there are some opportunities where, just like being a sorority is a benefit, I think there's some opportunities professionally when you are a gay male or a gay female and you have this group of, not all gay people, I'm not saying it, but gay people tend to find success. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's like a connection with that. Like, even when I look at people in my family, they're really committed, like, to what they want to do in life. Have you found professionally that it's helped you or hindered you being a gay male?
Definitely helped. My company is very, very open. I think like when I first started there, half the office was gay. so it definitely helped. But yeah.
What about you, Melissa?
Well, Monica and I work together, and our company is all inclusive. They support LGBTQ, they support it all. But the thing about this is, they start making pride cupcakes this year for our company. And I had a lady that looked like a man come in and tell me that the reason why kids are becoming gay is because of these cupcakes. And I politely told her that, ma'am, that pink cupcake is not why your son likes Peter. So, and I said, what example are you trying to set for this young gentleman? And you're dressed like a man. What example are you setting? But other than that, it's been great. We have no problems. Me and Monica work together good. They respect us as a couple. So I don't have no issues other than them pink pride cupcakes.
So that's something else we talked about, right, Dondi? So we was talking about not wanting to see, but it kind of goes back to what Melissa was saying too about Monica. So I made the comment about, not just me, it was other people, but the conversation was about not wanting children to be exposed too young to intimacy. For me, of any kind. I don't care if it's male, female, or if it's, female and female, male or male, or whatever. But it was a lot of conversation that the perception is that if my grandson, was using him for example, or my granddaughter was watching TV and they saw, which they will today on TV now, there's no hiding it, two women or two men kissing, that it is teaching them to be gay. And to me, I think we all know that's impossible, but it kind of goes back to this pink cupcake thing, even down to the pink and blue thing. Conditionally, we've always said pink is for girls and blue is for boys, right? Now, the one thing, regardless of what I do, what my grandson to do or not, if he goes and pick up his sisters, he goes in his sister's room and pick up a doll and start playing on the dollhouse with her, we're not telling him to put down the doll, because I feel like it teaches him about family. It teaches, like, if you ever hear two kids playing with dolls, it's normally a mommy and a daddy, whether it's, whatever, two dolls or, the kids don't care a lot of times. You can have two kittens and they playing in the dollhouse and it's the mommy and daddy and they never thinking about it being two kittens. They're just thinking about having two dolls in their hand. So we're not going to tell you put the doll down. That's not for girls girls and that's not for boys, because that's stupid. That's why you got so many single fathers who struggle to do hair on a little girl, because no one let them do hair on that doll that we had. Remember the doll with pretty, he couldn't play with Pretty Cut and Grow. And that doesn't make sense. But outside of the cupcake, Dondi, have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, I haven't. Other than the nonsense that's going on in this country right now, I mean, a book's not going to make somebody gay. A TV show's not going to make somebody gay. There were not gay characters on TV or in the media or anything when I was growing up. I was still gay. I'm still gay. It's who I am. It's who I'm meant to be.
And so I want to end.
Hey, cuz, I gotta go pick up Monica, but y'all gonna be rolling with me, okay? Okay. So I'm just letting you know I'm still here. I just gotta go pick her up from work, so then you can see your cousin. Nope, I gotta go get the wifey.
So I want to end it on kind of thing. What has been the best part of being a gay male in America, and what has been the worst for you, Dondi?
I'll answer in reverse. The worst, and it's actually an answer for one of the questions that you had about being perceived. What was question number 9?
Oh, hold on, I'll pull it out.
Oh, the misconception.
Yes. It says, what is the greatest misconception you feel people have about gay men? Yeah.
That we want to.
Oh, I can't wait to answer that.
That we want to sleep with all straight men. That is
far. Amen. Let the church say amen. It's the same for the women. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I mean, and that we want to turn all straight men gay. No, that's not. we don't want all you straight men. I'm sorry.
We see what some of y'all do to these women, man. Y'all can stay on that side.
Right, because we got enough. A man is a man. It don't matter if he gay or straight.
So, Melissa, you said it's the same for women?
I think she froze.
I think she's frozen. Melissa, you might be frozen. So I'll just wait until you come. I want to go to Tim. Tim says, don't see how people can hate on folks about their sexuality. I've had gay roomies before. My ex-girlfriend of 10 years was bi, always at the gay bars in Phoenix. Maybe I'm a lesbian attracted to a man's body. No, Tim, I don't know if you was here when I said it. Like, I told you what they did in Ohio, the gay bars, so I had a girlfriend who was gay, a friend who was gay, and I went to the bars with her because they knew how to party. I like to dance. You go to a gay bar with man, they bring the males and females are dancing all night long. And at that time, that song, booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Oh my God, we would turn the whole floor. We would miss new booty from one side of the floor to the next side of the floor. You cannot go to a straight club and have that kind of fun. So I went to that club often, and people would assume, well, not the people in the club, but people who would know I was going to the club assume, okay, she must be gay because she's hanging out with that girl. No, I went to that club because whether it was straight people in that club, straight male, straight female, whoever, because it was all of that in that club. Came to that club to have a good time. The DJ was off the hook, and we was going to booty, booty, booty rock everywhere in that entire club. And that's why we went. That's why a lot of straight men like to go hang out with their gay cousins and stuff like that. Like, this is facts. Like, the spirit of fun in community is different from the spirit of fun, unfortunately, going to regular clubs, in my opinion. Like, people come there to have a good time. It's their escape. I don't know. But people come there to have a good time.
And that's not the club aspect, but just the gay life aspect. I have a lot of my closest friends are my gay family, my chosen family, and they will be there for. They got my back, no matter what.
The community.
No matter what, and I love them for that. I want to kick their ass sometimes, but I love them just the same.
And I think that's one of the things that I can definitely agree with, even being on the outside looking into, especially on the male side of being homosexual in the DMV area. It's a community. They someone knows an accountant, someone knows a lawyer, someone knows a nurse, someone knows someone who works at the doctor's office that can help you get blah blah. Like, it's a network, it's a community. That's why I said professionally. How did it help you? Because I'm not saying everyone, but there's a certain level of success that seems to be attached. Kind of like I said, like to a sorority. You know, not everybody is a sorority, but a lot of people are, because there's so much networking that's going on within the community of some very talented people. You know. Who live in creative spaces, you know, and I think that's one of the things that you can observe even from the outside looking in. Wayne Allen says, gay men are the only men I feel 100% safe with being friends as a woman because there's no other motive. My bestie, when y'all hear me talking about my bestie, that's Jamal Lee. He might be listening. He comes in the chat sometimes. We can talk through the middle of the night, okay? The middle of the night. My husband will have no concerns. He will be there for me and my husband if anything happens or goes wrong with us. He is financially sound. He's one of the ones I'm talking about who got this great big old house. If you're listening, that I don't even know why he bought the great big old house. He's never there because he's so busy traveling and working the world. I think that that is absolutely truth. And they are also probably, for me, he don't play. Like, he's very no nonsense about marriage, you know, like in because you don't have to be in a marriage, you know, type of thing, or you don't have to do this. So why do these things? He's very on point about life as a whole. And like I said, it connects to a community. Like, he going out with him is an experience. He does nothing cheap, nothing cheap. It's an experience, and it's just how he loves. You know, he loves in color, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Actually, I think his birthday, so those pictures are on my Facebook, one of the best birthday parties I ever been to for an outdoor event, and it was lit. It was lit. Seen a lot of bar fights, but never won in a gay bar. About the safest places to hang out. These are facts. So, guys, like I said, I wanted to do this as a celebration for Pride Month. I guess, you know, we can extend it another 30 days. I think it's something I said to Rock that specifically with Elias, yourself, and
Maki
being a part of his show is something that should be touched on more often. No, just regular, you know, casual conversations, because I think a lot was learned from that conversation. I think that, yes, it's going to be times that there is some, you know, raw emotional or miscommunication. But the only way we get past that is through love, right? And having those conversations, because the reality of it is, we was talking about the bathroom situation. We're coming into a world where boy, girl, male, female is disappearing. The only way we're going to be able to do this outside of hate, where, you know, some people don't come out because they're afraid they're going to end up deceased somewhere, beat to death, or, you know, different stuff like that, is if we have these conversations. Right. It's the lack of having these conversations, Dawn D, that lets a man not know that you don't want him and his trifling ass. You know, that's, you're not even looking at him. You know, where some men see what they assume is a gay male, and they think they make eye contact, and they think their reaction is to beat them to death. Mm-hmm. And that man not even thinking about you, or that woman is not even thinking about you. I mean, there's a lot of stories like that. So we want to just, you know, bring awareness. It was definitely something I wanted to do, and I want to make an announcement right now today. So this is going to be the last official live reptiles and cocktails. I'm going to be doing them pre-recorded because I have an opportunity to do more for the reptiles on Saturday, including some photo shoot opportunities, and I don't want those times to conflict. But reptiles and cocktails still going to happen. Me and Dre is going to be on Mondays at all times, but it gives me also opportunity to do recordings with people who otherwise could not fit the time slot, and bring you guys some additional content with different people in the hobby and outside the hobby. And then it's just pre-recorded and it releases at the same time at 1:00 p.m. on Saturdays.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we're still on Mondays at 8 a.m. For 2 P's on the podcast live, because what I am going to miss is the live chat part of it. That's the hard part for me. I'm giving away the live chat part of it. But we got Monday. We back on Monday. We can chat it up on Monday. But I still want to make sure that we bring some educational content. So with that, Melissa, thank you. Tell Monica I said hi and I love her.
You're welcome. We're going to have to do this again real soon.
And like I said, maybe the next time, Dondi, you can hook up with Melissa. Y'all can make contact and you can bring her on the show as well. I think, again, 2 solid people, and Melissa, from day one, again, thank you for answering some of the questions that we never talked about before.
You're welcome, Nicole. You can ask me anything.
The fly haircut. From the moment you walk in with your fly haircut.
Thank you.
Thank you too. I know you got a party or a graduation to get to, so go get on about your day.
Oh look, look, cuz your cousin Nicole.
I love you.
She says she loves you.
Tell I love her.
We love you, Nicole.
I'll see y'all later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Nicole.
Bye.
Bye, Dorothy. Love y'all.
Love you.